What's up, legend? In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you how to stop being so tired all the time and 3 quick, easy, actionable steps to help you double your energy and just take on the day. Claim the freaking day. So I'm Josh with Forward, and if you get this handled, it will completely change your life. As I'm sure you're probably aware, you're watching this video to try and figure out how to stop being so tired all the time. You're probably wanting to know how you can have more energy and go out there and claim more of your life, not have your energy levels fluctuate so much every single day. You know, one day is great, I'm feeling at 100%, the next day is shitty, I'm at 60%. How did this happen? What can I do to change it? That's exactly what we're going to cover in this video. So instead of it being, all over the shop, I'm going to keep this nice and concise to 3 actionable steps you can do so that isn't your life, and even if you are having some pretty decent sleeps, but you're like, maybe I can improve a little bit more, I don't know how to make it more regulated, then this is also going to help you. So number 1 is having a routine. As simple as it sounds, we are totally out of whack to what nature really originally had planned for us. And that comes from all this artificial light, and we live in a age where we have incredible technology that gives us so much. We can save so many lives, we can explore, we can travel. I can film this, on a freaking iPhone and have incredible quality. And a part of that is mass stimulation. And so this is a tricky one, probably the hardest one out of the 3, is to actually stick to a nighttime routine. What I'm going to share with you came from Brendan Bouchard, a friend of mine. My roommate actually shared it with me, and it's 3, 2, 1. So 3 hours before bed, I stop eating. 2 hours before bed, I stop working, and 1 hour before bed, I stop having any screens around me. And it sounds easy enough, simple little 3, 2, and 1, but life happens. We got friends, people come over for dinner, you're out and about, and all this stuff's going on, and we're really addicted to stimulation in our day and age. And so what the recommendation here is to try and stick with this for a week or more, because the first couple of days are frankly pretty freaking boring. We're used to having all this stimulation, like I was saying earlier, and when you remove a phone or you remove the TV, you remove work for a certain period of time before bed, say 2 hours before bed, your brain's looking for stimulation. It's looking for more action. It's looking for more things to happen so it can keep itself entertained and addicted, because we're addicted, to our phones. We're addicted to Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, all that sort of jazz. And it's pretty hard. It's pretty, I love reading. I love reading books so much. I've been a vivacious reader since I was from a young age. And even when I started to re-implement this in my life at the start of the year, reading felt kind of boring compared to looking at my phone. But the stats showed, and I highly recommend you getting something. I wear a Whoop, which tracks my sleep, or you can get an Oura Ring. I personally prefer the Whoop, but you can see with data how much this influences your sleep and your energy levels the next day, because you don't want to be rolling the dice. The whole point of this is so that we're not going to sleep every day and just crossing our fingers hoping for a good rest so we can jump up and be alive and ready to go. You want to be able to predictively and accurately plan your sleep so that you can have great energy the next day. And so to recap, 3 hours before bed, no food. 2 hours before bed, no work. 1 hour before bed, no screens whatsoever, which means you need to pick up a book or write something or draw and do something that isn't as stimulating, but is actually healing to the soul and will get you ready to wind down. Because that's the problem. Really, we don't actually wind down if we're looking at a screen, and that leads us into number 2, which is reducing blue light. Number 2, reducing blue light. So, surprise, these aren't real glasses. I don't need glasses. These are blue light blockers that I wear for looking at screens during the day, because I spend a lot of time on the computer editing for work and whatnot, and doing Zoom calls now that we're in the COVID situation. And these will reduce the amount of blue light that comes into your retina. So it's the middle of the day. It's in Vancouver, so it's overcast. You can't really tell that it's the middle of the day. But in the middle of the day, the sun is at its peak, and so we have the maximal amount of blue light. As you can notice in sunrise and sunset, we have less blue light, so the sky starts to turn red and pink and all these beautiful orange colors. And what this does for our body is it slowly wakes us up or slowly sends us to sleep. In the middle of the day, it's like, okay, it's time to move, it's time to operate. And with all of the lighting that we have inside and indoors, and LEDs and whatnot with the high flicker rates, that is just stimulation to your brain. And so even though you think it's time to go to bed, you're like, oh, it's 10 p.m., 11 p.m., it's time for me to go to sleep. Your brain and your hormones don't know that it's time to go to sleep. And so melatonin doesn't start getting produced for 3 to 4 hours with the reduction of blue light. So if you're going to sleep at 10 p.m. but you had blue light stimulation coming into your body, you don't get melatonin produced until 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. Whereas if you have a reduction of blue light, you slowly start to wind down and your hormones start to regulate. Melatonin starts to get reduced naturally just before you go to sleep, and you actually fall into a deep sleep. Like we know the stages of sleep. There's light sleep, there's deep sleep, there's REM sleep, and there's all the different alpha and beta brainwaves that we can go into, and theta brainwaves. But we don't get to sink into those deep levels of sleep, or REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep, until we have had a proper wind down. And you can tell, again, if you have something like a statistics tracker like the Whoop, you can see the amount of time that you spent in REM sleep, in deep sleep, in light sleep, and how much time you actually spent awake versus you spent in bed. So got a little bit of a selection here, my sexy selection, they like to call it. So these are if I'm going out and about, I'll wear these. These are like super casual. They're pretty orange right now looking through them, and probably see how orange that is. Pretty orange looking through it. Stops, reduces blue light. It's pretty decent. So if I'm watching a movie or something, I might put these on. These are my Terminator glasses. These things are hectic. You can see that there's a big, I don't know what you call that, like a ledge on top of it to stop the light from coming through on top. These are my super sexy ones. And then if I'm wanting to go X-Men style, have a lady over, do a bit of role play, I'm going to be wearing these things and getting freaky. These are broken. I barely fucking wear them. But they have a complete reduction in blue light, and this is just a good example for you to see what it should be like for your brain. And if we have it as is, if it looks like daytime but it's nighttime, your body nature doesn't care. Nature's telling your body it's daytime, and so your body's like, oh, it's daytime, I'm just going to keep operating at this heightened level of stimulation. And unfortunately what that means is you don't get to rest properly. And as much as if you're into understand muscle building and whatnot, like if you work out, you need the rest to build the muscle. The workout breaks down the muscle, the rest builds the muscle. So we are just breaking down, and you never get the opportunity to create that incredible amount of energy that you can have that I experience, and I really hope that you get to experience that as well. Like you've probably had those days where you're like, wow, I had a great sleep last night, I'm ready to take on the freaking day, I don't need the 25 cups of coffee, let's go, let's hit it, let's go out and create some moments that matter in the wilderness or with some people. And that can be your life 90% of the time. Number 3, we're going a little bit edgier here, is changing when you have sex. So I'm a huge fan of sex, love sex. I'm currently on being celibate right now for the next 3 months. So we're a month in and feeling good, feeling way energized and less distracted than I usually am. But if you have sex at nighttime, then all of your hormones are going to be jacked up and you're ready and raring to go to reproduce, baby. So if you're in a relationship, or even if you're just friends with benefits, or if you're single and you're swinging, then try and optimize it around your sleep schedule. Now, this might sound a little bit extreme, but I'm a bit of an extreme dude. I have big goals. I have things that I want to do. I love being in peak performance for my fitness, for going on these massive 6-7 hour hikes and trekking and whatnot. And I mean, honestly, you just got to set some boundaries sometimes. What do you want in life versus what do you want in the moment? And morning sex is great sex. It gets you jazzed up, you're ready for the day, you're feeling sexy, you're like, man, today's gonna be a good day, and it actually stimulates your hormones in the right way. So to recap, we have our 3, 2, and 1. We have no food 3 hours before bed, no work 2 hours before bed, no screens 1 hour before bed. Secondly, we got our blue blocker stack. We're wanting to remove blue light, so candlelight is great for this as well. Got a little romance going on, but don't go having sex, because number 3, changing your sex schedule is gonna help a lot. So you can light a candle in the morning, set the mood right, or just have it earlier. Plan the date, plan your sexing, plan the time you have sex so that you can optimize the rest of your life, because there's nothing worse than waking up in 5 years and having not achieved all the things you wanted to do in the grand scheme because you wanted a little bit of titillation in the moment. Hey, if you're not having sex, then no, you don't have to worry about number 3, but you should probably put that on your priority list to go out and start having sex. It's really good for you. It's great for connection and all that other fun stuff. So that's it, mate. Take those 3 things, put them into your routine, and really take advantage of this beautiful battery that you have inside of you that gets to recharge every night. And then you can take advantage of this beautiful, beautiful world we live in. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, smash it, blow it up, whatever the frick I need to do to tell you, to get you to do it. Click on the button, hit subscribe. We put out new videos every single week to help you create more moments that matter.